I'm Shrija Chakravarti, and I'm the creator of Miss Me Android app. So the purpose of this presentation is to justify the need for background service in Miss Me app. And the second one is to justify the need for increasing the volume in Miss Me app. Uh, so I'll be using the methodology of first we'll discuss what the use case of Miss Me app, and then later I'll explain the solution, and that will make the above 2 points clear. So the first use case is emergency contact. Let's say, for example, you're in a meeting and you put your phone in silent mode, whereas your near or dear one close family member is facing an emergency and the person wants to contact you. So they call you, but since your phone is in silent mode, you're not able to hear it, and you miss the emergency call. The second use case that is about misplaced phone. Let's say, for example, you have kept your phone in silent mode, say for example to avoid hearing spam calls, but also you have misplaced the phone, as in you are put the phone somewhere that you later forget. So basically the phone is in the house, but you really don't know exactly where it is. And I'm aware that the Google phone locator can locate it. However, if the phone is not connected to the internet, the Google phone locator will not work. So Miss Me app provides a solution for both these use cases. So what is a Miss Me app? So what is a Miss Me app? Miss Me app provides an interface to uh, register set of numbers of your near and dear ones. So the number of numbers that you can register here is maximum of 3. So in this case, I have shown as an example that hey, you'll perhaps register of your partner if you have a child or your close friends. Like those are the 3 numbers that you register in Miss Me app. And so what Miss Me app exactly does is it looks out whenever there is a missed call comes, a background service is continuously running to monitor a call. So whenever any call comes, the Miss Me app's background service will be invoked. So let us take 2 cases of how the background. Okay. So let's take the case of how the Miss Me app works when a call comes from an unregistered number. So if you take Miss Me app has like I said, a database of numbers that represents the numbers of your near and dear ones. And there is also a background service. The background service is continuously it's running on the background and it's listening to incoming calls. So the purpose of background service is to listen to the incoming calls. So let's take a case where you get a call from number 91444, and when the call comes, the Miss Me app's background service is invoked. It checks with the database and checks out if the 9144 number is with the Miss Me app. Now it finds out that this number does not belong to Miss Me app and it's not registered with it. So basically it ignores it. So this is how Miss Me app works when when the incoming call is from an unknown number. Hi, so now I'm going to explain how the Miss Me app works in case of a registered number. Like I earlier pointed out, Miss Me app has this database of numbers that represent has a database of these numbers. These numbers represent the phone numbers of your near and dear ones or close family members. It has a background service that is listening to incoming calls. So let's take the call comes from +91222, and when the Miss Me app's background service obtains the call, it checks if it's present in its database. In this case, you can see that +91222 corresponds to the child's number, and so Miss Me app recognizes that hey, this call is meant for it. So when it gets the first call, it checks the database and it goes to a state and it remembers that it has received one call, the first call. Let's take now the second call. Suppose is made in the 11th second, and the Miss Me app callback, Miss Me app's background services again, which is listening to a call, is invoked. It finds out that plus the call is corresponds to the child's number, and then it goes to a state that corresponds to the fact that the second call from +91222 has been made. And let's take at the time 20 at the time duration 20th second, the third call is made. The Miss Me app again checks the database and goes to to a state called third call, and it knows that now three calls have been received within 30 seconds, and therefore it will increase the maximum volume to maximum. So this is how the background service works. And now let's conclude this by seeing how the background service is used and what is the purpose of volume getting going to max. So the background service, like I showed, is used to monitor the incoming calls. So it looks out for a call. So and if the call is present in MISME apps database, it checks whether it's the data call is registered with the MISME app. If it is not registered, it ignores the call. If it is present, it for if three missed calls are received within 30 seconds, it increases the volume to max. Basically, it monitors for three missed calls within 30 seconds and increases the volume to max. So background service is essential for MISME app to work because it monitors, it uses this fact that if three calls are made within 30 seconds from a pre-registered number, the volume will be increased to max. How does the volume increase to max helps? So for the use case one where your near and dear one is in emergency, the MISME app volume will increase suddenly, and you'll be notified that uh, the caller is facing some kind of emergency situation. And for the use case two, it helps to locate the phone. So that is why background service is required, and that is why MISME app requires the volume to be turned to be max. And that's all I had. Thank you.